Knicks fans, we are back with another video because we have breaking news, or maybe not breaking news. We have conflicting reports right now coming out about the New York Knicks. Did they waive Trevor Keels? Are they going to waive Trevor Keels? We do know that Duane Washington, though, has been waived by the New York Knicks. So we're going to break all that down in today's show. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Let's dive into it. So Fred Katz, who is a beat reporter for the Knicks that works for The Athletic, he tweeted out at 7:58 Central Time that the Knicks are waiving 7:58 Eastern Time, that the Knicks are waiving Trevor Keels to make room for Dylan Windler, who we broke down earlier on the channel. The Knicks signed him. You can go check out that video. We'll also talk about Windler in a little bit. League sources tell The Athletic. So this tells me, producer Jack, who I've got riding shotgun with me, that he heard from somebody that he has been waived, because he cites right here that league sources tell The Athletic. Remember, the Knicks drafted Keels in the second round in the 2022 NBA draft. Then 2 minutes later, Fred Katz deletes the tweet and says, "I accidentally hit send on a tweet I was pre-writing and deleted it. No news as of yet." So this could mean even one or two things. One, he's lying about the sources telling him it, because if the sources told him it, he would have put the tweet out, but he deleted the tweet. So did he lie about the sources? And two, it has just been a terrible day for the Knicks beat reporters. Dylan Windler signed this morning. You can only have 3 two-way contracts on the Knicks. After Windler signed, the Knicks have 4. And they had an offer out for Duane Washington, who we now know has been cut. We'll talk about him. But they had 4 players. No one knew if Nathan Knight was on a 2-way or a 1-year deal. Trevor Keels signed back in July 7th, and it wasn't news until like July 20th. Rough couple of days for the Knicks beat reporters. I know that much for sure. But Fred Katz, you do great work. I love reading your articles, man. But did league sources tell you that the Knicks have waived Trevor Keels, or did they not tell you? I'm trying to get it figured out. I believe Keels has been waived. They didn't want the news to be public today. Could come out tonight, could come out tomorrow. But I believe that he has been cut and waived by the Knicks, who they could still bring him back maybe on a G League deal, as he is still just 19 years old. I'll ask you, though, this question. What is your one-word reaction to Trevor Keels being waived? Was he waived? I believe he was. Very, very interesting stuff right now. But give me your one word to Trevor Keels being waived. My one-word reaction is 0, or the number 0. Maybe not even a word. The reason my number is 0 is because the Knicks now have 0 players on their roster that have been drafted by the New York Knicks in the last 2 seasons. And no matter how much I love the signing of Jalen Brunson, or the trade for Josh Hart, or signing Dante DiVincenzo, or the moves that the Knicks have made under Leon Rose, this right here is not how you build a basketball team. You have to draft players. You have to reset rookie contracts, or you're going to run into a situation like Obi Toppin, who doesn't play, doesn't want to be here, and you trade a top 10 pick 3 years later for 2 future second-round picks. I don't know if Trevor Keels is done in New York. I would be shocked if he is, and I would not be shocked if he is brought back on a G League deal. And he was actually solid in the G League for the Knicks last year. In 24 games in Westchester, he averaged 14.5 points per game, 3.5 assists, 2.9 rebounds, and he shot 42.5% from the field and 34.5% from 30. He also played in the Summer League for the Knicks this year, and he didn't play all that well, to be honest. Only 11 points per game, about 2.8 and 2.8 rebounds and assists per game, shooting 41.5% from the field while shooting 33% from deep. He was inefficient. He was unable to really find his groove. I still think that there's hope for the young kid. I mean, you go back and watch his tape at Duke. He was solid, but it's the same thing over and over again. He was inconsistent and inefficient in the G League. He was inefficient in Summer League. He was inefficient in college. Former 5-star prospect, but he just hasn't been able to put it all together, whatever that reason may be. I do not think his professional career ends here. I don't think his career with the Knicks ends here. I believe he will be on the Westchester Knicks in a couple of days. If the Knicks actually do end up waiving him, like Fred Katz said they did, and then he deleted the tweet, that whole situation is just it's just weird at this point. But this is why you subscribe to Knicks Now. because we stand on what we say. We are the fastest growing Knicks channel on YouTube. And when there are news and rumors out there, we put a video out as soon as possible. So if you want free content every single day on the orange and blue, you bleed Knicks orange and blue, hit that sub button right now. Plus, it's 100% free. Support the squad. Alrighty, so a lot of people have been asking me, Marshall, we've signed so many players to a two-way contract. And they say, what is a two-way contract? A two-way contract is when a player can play 50 games at max with the New York Knicks or any NBA team, and they go back and forth from the G League to the NBA. If they play more than 50 games, you have to convert them to a full-time NBA salary. I think this is important to know. Two-way contracts allow NBA teams to carry 3 extra players in addition to the 15 on the regular season roster. These players generally bounce back and forth between the NBA and G League, but remain under team control and can't be poached by rival franchise. But remember, they can only play up to 50 games in the regular season. So the Knicks finally, after having as many as 5 players on two-way contracts, which was illegal, are down to 3 players on two-way contracts. Jalen Martin, who was a UDFA out of the Overtime Elite League, played for the Knicks in the G League. We'll break him down. Dylan Windler, we talked about him in length today. Check that video out. And Nathan Knight, who we also broke down in length. Let's start with Jalen Martin. Played with the Knicks in the Summer League. Played in 3 games, about 29.7 minutes per night, 13 points per game. He flashed, showed some offensive juice. He's able to get to the cup. He's an athletic, springy guy that can also shoot it from deep, but did not efficiently do that in the Summer League. So you take a look outside of the two-way guys who the Knicks have on this roster, it's still the same starting 5. Brunson, Grimes, Barrett, Randall, and Robinson. Now you got Quickly, McBride, DiVincenzo, Martin, Hart, Windler, Roby, Knight, Hartenstein, and Sims. Name you don't see on there anymore is Duane Washington, who was on a two-way deal last year. The Knicks offered him a two-way deal this summer, and Duane Washington picked up the two-way deal today. Thing is, Knicks didn't have a spot for Duane Washington on the two-way. Fred Katz saying Duane Washington picked up his qualifying offer. The Knicks then waived him. Knicks have another move with a two-way player on the way to make room for Windler. That's why I believe he tweeted out what he did about Trevor Keels. Duane Washington, I was happy about the signing when the Knicks signed him at the tail end of this season because he has the ability to knock down that three-point shot, 37% from 3 in 2021 when he played with Indianapolis. In 2022, when he played with the Phoenix Suns, he shot it at a 36% clip. But he's not much more than a three-point shooter, and right now he's not a member of the New York Knicks. I hope the best for Duane Washington going through the rest of his NBA career. Let's talk about Dylan Windler now as he was signed. We'll do this briefly as we did it in length earlier. Then we'll transition and close the show talking about Nathan Knight. This is a guy that's played in 84 games in his NBA career, 11.7 minutes per night. Never really had that much burn. Injuries were a problem with him early on in his career with Cleveland. But if you go back and watch his tape in college, he showed you that he could be a scorer, a solid rebounder, and a guy that could be efficient not only from the deck but also from three-point range. He's a lefty. He's got one of those shots where if he catches the ball like in front of his face, he doesn't need to drop it to his waist and bring it back up and shoot a three. He could just launch it. Got a little bit of Joe Ingles in his game. Nathan Knight, though, we broke him down. You can check that video out on the channel if you want more news and rumors about him. But he's a solid player, played in 108 games in his career. Not the most sexy stats in the world. He's a rough and rugged type of player. He excels from the free throw line down, and he's really kind of a bully out there. The thing I like about him, though, when he gets 10-plus minutes per game, he actually produces a little. Hasn't happened that often in his NBA career, but in those games, he's averaging 8.6 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, and 1 steal and blocked combined per night. So I want to ask you this question before we bounce up on out of here, since we've been at work for 12 hours already today, pretty much. Who has the brightest future of the two-way contracts for the Knicks? Is it Jalen Martin, Dylan Windler, or Nathan Knight? Type their initials of the guy you think is going to be the brightest star of the group. As always, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for tuning in to Knicks Now by Chat Sports. If the video this morning and the video tonight and the live show today wasn't enough Marshall in your life, you can get more of it over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We put a lot of work in here at Chat Sports. Shout out to producer Jack for staying. I was downstairs walking to work, and I saw the tweet from Fred Katz, so I walked back up to the office to see he had deleted the tweet. But I said, you know what? We're going to still break it down. So all that rambling for me to say just thank you for tuning into the videos we do on this channel, and we'll see you later.